your DFS Jerusalem, and you can follow me on Twitter at DFS Jerusalem. And I'm coming to you talking about this interesting slate of games we had tonight, October the 4th, man, where we got to see the New York Knicks and Houston Rockets. We saw a little bit of Derrick Rose, what we can expect from him. Well, as you can see, I'm in here now. I'm watching the NBA TV. I'm going to tell you, if you're going to play season long or NBA, DFS, or whatever, you've got to invest in the League Pass. Now, I recently purchased the League Pass, and I was kind of shocked to see that you can't watch the preseason games, and that's kind of weird to me. I was expecting that you would be able to watch the preseason games as well as the regular season games, but it doesn't really start. The League Pass really doesn't start and take effect until October 25th, the start of the season. But like I said in one of my previous videos, this is really a good time to look at players during the preseason that are going to be coming off the bench, guys that are fighting for a spot, guys that you think are good but just need to get that chance, and it'll keep you more familiar with the players as we go into the season and you see, it's going to be a late scratch or this player may be out. Well, you may remember during the preseason there was this one guy who was really good and he did X, Y, Z, and I rostered him. So I made a few lineups tonight just to throw some in, just to see what I could do, and I cashed in one of them. It was a lineup that I actually gave out earlier, where I had I liked Porzingis, I liked the Lakers backcourt, which that was kind of, and I also went with Ingram. He did all right, So it was a pretty good showing. Just my first time this preseason, trying to get my feet wet just to see what combinations of players I like, seeing who's going to be developing the chemistry with the other, just to get a good idea of how I wanted to attack each slate coming up once the season gets started, October the 25th. But I'm going to play a little bit more. I'm going to play a little bit more, just to give you a quick breakdown on the scoring and who did well tonight. Let's go ahead and we're gonna open up the NBA.com app and just go look around and see who's been doing what, because you're gonna have to know. See, this is not like football. Like basketball, as we know, is a game of runs, and players, they go on runs and they do well, and you gotta jump on the train when it's hot in order to really cash in on these cats. So we look at, let's just check out one of my lineups here. Open it up on the computer. And I really think this is gonna be like a super exciting season. Like because this is my favorite time of year. You got DFS football, you got DFS basketball going on at the same time. It's gonna be dope. How about the way Golden State kicked the crap out of freaking the Clippers, man? And for those of you that rostered Chris Paul, 1 point, 2 points, like, what the fuck? Where'd that come from, bro? Well, I'll tell you where it came from. This dude, KD with the Golden State Warriors, it's gonna be insane. It's gonna be crazy. Like, they're moving the ball, everybody's getting the hand on the ball. I would say they're gonna be like the chalk every night. Every night they play, they're gonna be somebody there. And where they're playing now, the ball's being spread around so much that it's not going to be like previous years where you couldn't safely roster any one of the Golden State Warriors because you didn't know who was going to go off. But the way they're moving the ball now, I think it's going to be a little more even distribution between the four players. I think, of course, the glue that's going to hold everything together is going to definitely be Draymond. Like Draymond, he's gonna get his regardless, and he's a double waiting to happen at all times. Excuse me, a triple double waiting to happen at all times. So you can definitely put your money on Draymond Green doing well. And I just want to go through just a few of the box scores, and we can take a look and see what is going on, who is doing what. Now, we know James Harden came out and he had a really, really great game. We also got to see Joel Embiid play. So it was a pretty eventful night. Like if this is your thing, this is what you're gonna be into. This is you need to be checking these out and be on it. You know.
You could spend $20 for just 4 replacement blades, or you could get a great shape for the entire year for just $19.99 with the top. As a free bonus, you also get our micro-touch trimmer for precise grooming around ears, nose, eyebrows, neck, and sideburns. Hey, really appreciate that.
As you can see here, watching NBA.com or whatever.
To order your micro-touch top blade, call 1-800-997-2064. That's 1-800-997-2064.
First game I'm going to talk about, we had the Boston Celtics and the Philadelphia 76ers. This was a pretty much a low point total, but Avery Johnson had a really great game, 11 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists. Avery, now, this dude, he's gonna be like a mystery all year long if he's anything like he was last year. We had Jay Crowder, played 19 minutes, 4 of 8 shooting, 3 of 6 from 3. He did pretty well. Al Horford, who kind of let everybody down. Al Horford was the highest owned player, I believe, highest owned big on the slate. And we had Amir Johnson, Avery Bradley, 18 minutes. Isaiah Thomas, 19 minutes. What you want to check now for, you want to know minute totals, right? And so you had TJ McConnell leading the way for the 76ers. He played 25 minutes, 6 of 11, no three-pointers, 1-for-1 free throw, finished with 13 points. Joel Embiid, he made his debut at 13 minutes. They're going to ease him in slowly. They're not going to just, cut Joel Embiid loose. He was 2 of 6 from the field, finished with 6 points, 2 blocks, 3 turnovers, which isn't good. But he had 6 rebounds, and I think you're going to see some good stuff from Joel Embiid. Now, Bob Cove, man, he got into the mix. Nerlens Noel was pretty good. Rashawn Holmes, 12 minutes, 10 points. Phillies will be hard to roster all year long until you really figure out who is going to be the starter and who's really going to, who's going to ball. You know what I mean? My man Rozier from Boston, he played 26 minutes. He's a guy fighting for a place in the starting rotation. Excuse me, a bench role actually. So he had a pretty decent game as far as your preseason players go, things that you want to see in the preseason. Miami and Washington, that was another one. Now I saw we had Kelly Oubre Jr. Man, he went off, as well as Hassan Whiteside. Now I missed on Hassan Whiteside. I didn't think that he was gonna play very much, but I mean, he went fucking nuts. 20 points, 13 rebounds, 3 blocks, and from Whiteside, this is what you're gonna see all year long, especially with like Chris Bosh kind of out of the way. This is what you're gonna see from Hassan Whiteside. He's an excellent shot blocker, even better rebounder. This is a dude that he can get like a quadruple double. He can get 10 points, 10 assists, 10 rebounds, 10 blocks, whatever. He can do it. And Kelly Oubre, he led the way in scoring. Had a pretty good game on the Washington side. Now, I don't think we got a chance to really see much from the Washington side. I think John Wall was out, so um, we saw a lot of Trey Burke, who was pretty good. Bradley Beal had 16 minutes. Uh, Marcus Morris, he ended up with 27 minutes and 11 points. So that's something to watch going forward as well as we lean into the regular starter. Somebody who's going to be starting. So I guess they wanted to let him get more comfortability with the team. Um, we had Derek Williams, 23 minutes. He was able to score 7 points in 23 minutes. That's the guy. He came over from New York Knicks. Dion Waiters played 22 minutes, had 12 points. He was somebody that you definitely could have gotten a hold to. He would have been a good return for you. Kelly Oubre, man. The last piece I did, I was talking about you got to find guys who are on the verge. And if you paid attention last year, you saw that Kelly Oubre Jr., he was kind of on the verge of being a rotation guy. And with the departure of Jared Dudley, Allen Anderson, he's somebody who can come in and fill that role. He can be a solid bench player, especially once once your boy starts to break down. Because every year Bradley Beal, he finds a way to break down. So that Kelly Oubre Jr., that's somebody to watch going forward. Now we're gonna move on to the New York Knicks and the Houston Rockets. James Harden was his usual chucking self. He went out. It played 30 minutes in the preseason game, which is something that I really didn't expect. But with somebody who shoots the way he does and commands such a big part of the offense, there was no way that you couldn't roster him. Like you had to roster him tonight. So he goes out 3 minutes and scores 28 points. This dude is a scorer, bro. 10 for 12 in the free throw line. He always gets to the free throw lines. He had 11 assists, 6 rebounds, flirted kind of with a triple-double. Trevor Ariza played 27 points. 27 minutes. Ryan Anderson is the one who really went ham. 29 minutes, 26 points. He had a really, really good game. 7 rebounds for him. Now with the point guard was out, so you got to see Eric Gordon play 21 minutes and 10 points for him. Off the bench, you had Nene Hilario. He came over from Washington. He's now in Houston. He had a pretty good game, solid minutes, 17 minutes, 10 points. Gary Payton II did nothing. He is not rosterable. And KJ McDaniel, 22 minutes and had 9 points. So that was a pretty good showing for Houston Rockets. I think they hit like 23 pointers tonight, so they were going to be hard to beat anyway. Then you had from the Knicks side, Kyle Quinn, Porzingis, Anthony D. Rose, and Courtney Lee. Now, Courtney Lee played 23 minutes, didn't really shoot that much. He was 50%, 2 for 4 from the field. They were both three-pointers. Derrick Rose, he had some really solid minutes, 25 minutes, 7 to 14 shooting. He finished with 16 points. And Porzingis had 22 on 8 of 11. At one point in the game, him and Ryan Anderson were just shooting it out, bro. And I really think this is Porzingis' leap year. This is his leap year. This is where he's going to solidify himself as one of the top young players in the NBA. So be on the look. We got to hop on him while his price is going to be low. And see, this is the worst part about NBA DFS. Preseason NBA, you're going to see, or DraftKings or FanDuel are going to see a large enough sample size to where the pricing isn't going to be as soft as it is, let's say, in NFL or NHL, where the preseason really isn't long enough for them to be like, oh shit, this dude should be $9,000. He's not 9,000, $9K. I mean, he's not. But they're going to see, and as soon as the season starts, guys are going to be either overpriced or right where they should be. There really are too many steals going on in the early season. The Knicks had nothing off of the bench. The Knicks bench sucks, bro. The best thing you can get is Brandon Jennings. That's the best thing. In 18 minutes, this guy shot 2 for 10, 7 points. A horrible showing. horrible showing. So there wasn't too much goodness there. Let's check out. Move on to the next game. It's gonna be Indiana, and the New Orleans Pelicans. Now the Pacers, they made a lot of big moves in the offseason. And then they weren't big, huge moves like KD moves, but I mean, adding Thaddeus Young, Paul George is there, uh, Jeff Teague, Monte Ellis. Like, this is a core that they kind of had last year, but Thaddeus Young is going to come in and really give them solid power forward minutes. And if you also factor in the the young guy, oh man, Miles Turner, he did not play due to a concussion, but I mean, this is going to be a really formidable backcourt. They're going to be there's going to be a double on this team damn near every night. But the thing is, you just got to find it. It's going to be Thad Young, or it's going to be Paul George, or if it's going to be Miles Turner. Because all of those guys are very formidable players. Um, Paul George in 24 minutes, he had 11 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. This guy, he really can fill up the stat sheet when he wants to play. Like, Paul George can really fill it up. Monte Ellis played 23 minutes. George Teague led the way with 26 minutes. And that's something to watch going forward. LaVoy Allen came off of the bench. Al Jefferson was someone else who they added, who is kind of a stiff, but I mean, he can see, solid minutes. He had played 18 minutes, 7 for 12, 14 points. Didn't rebound very well, had 5 rebounds, but I mean, hey, Joe Young, 20 points. This is a young guy too to be on the lookout for. You gotta watch out for Joe Young. Let's check out the Pelican side. Anthony Davis, I knew his minutes were going to be limited. I just knew not to go near him. But he played 18 minutes, had 6 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, 2 blocks, and 12 points. So that wasn't a bad preseason showing for Anthony Davis. Now, this is somebody who people hate rostering throughout the season because he will wait until you need him to score like 30 points to go out in the first quarter and not play anymore. Tony Frazier, 23 minutes, 3 of 5 shooting, 9 points. He hit 1 3-pointer, and 3-pointers are important too. 3-pointers are important too because you get that bonus, that half-point bonus for the 3-pointers. So Terrence Jones came off the bench, had 24 minutes, 10 points. We also saw 18 from Buddy Hield. He's somebody to watch. I started him in a couple lineups this week, this night, and he's done well. Buddy Hield, 7 for 14, 2 for 5 from the 3-point, 2 of 2 from free throw, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal. He had a couple turnovers, but and he saw a little foul trouble. Had 4 fouls, but I mean that kid can ball. He can ball. He's nice. He's nice. So now we're gonna move over to the Sacramento game. Now Sacramento usually, is chock full of fantasy goodness because of the fast rate of play, how fast they play. And I was kind of reluctant to really bet on them being a fast-paced team because they got rid of Rajon Rondo. But I mean, if you look at it, man, Darren Collison's a very similar player. They're gonna push the tempo. They're gonna push the pace. They're gonna run. And teams are going to score on them. And either way, there's going to be a lot of fantasy points involved in any time that the Sacramento Kings are on the court. So leading the way from the starters in minutes was Aaron Aflalo. Oh, guess what? That chucker. That just a fucking bum. I hate Aaron Aflalo. But anyway, 18 minutes, 6 of 9 field goals, 2 of 3 from 3-point. He had 14 points. He led all the starters in scoring. Cousins, 15 points for him, 15 minutes for him. He had 11 points, 4 assists, 6 rebounds, a block, 3 turnovers. Costa Koufos, I like him. He's somebody to be on the lookout for. Now I thought Willie Cauley-Stein would get a little more run in this game, seeing as how either it's going to be a blowout or just he was going to play well, and play himself into some more minutes. But Cauley-Stein, in 19 minutes, he had 4 points, 1 for 3, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, no blocks, and he is a rim protector of sorts. So I was kind of surprised by that performance. Now we moving on to the Lakers. I really like the Lakers tonight. I kind of put all of my eggs in the Laker basket, and leading away from the starters was Russell. Now in 25 minutes, 2 for 8, 0 for 2 from 3 point, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, 5 turnovers, and 4 points. Like, that is a horrible stat line for D'Angelo Russell, and he's got to turn that around. Somehow, Lou Williams always comes out smelling like a rose anytime like one of these guys has a horrible game. In 19 minutes, Julius Randle only scored 6 points. He was 3 for 6 from the field goals. Luol Deng, 16 minutes. This dude just doesn't age, man. 3 for 7. He had 8 points. Um, Larry Nance Jr. He played 24 minutes. He was second behind Russell in minutes, and in 24 minutes he scores 9 points off the bench. So I think he is going to be like the sixth man until Brandon Ingram kind of like jacks that spot from him, because Brandon Ingram actually led the minutes. He had 27 minutes, 0 for 5 from field goals, 0 for 4 3-point. Just a horrible shooting performance for Brandon Ingram. Tariq Black had 16 minutes, 15 points. That's pretty good. Clarkson went off. He had 20 minutes. He played 20 minutes, had 12 points. I always like Clarkson. I think he's somebody who can he can ball. He can fill it up if he has to. So I like him as well. And the last game was like the rout of the night. This was horrible, the way the Clippers got shellacked, and it was bad. It was bad. Now Luke Mbah-a-Moute, I don't know why he's still in the league. And I was watching it on NBA TV, man, and Jalen Rose said something that was very important. He talked about how this team does not have a formidable small forward like Golden State has KD, Cleveland has LeBron, Kawhi is in San Antonio, and that's what's keeping this team from being on par with one of those elite or those other elite teams. They have nothing at small forward. Luke Mbah-a-Moute is not good at basketball at all. So leading the way from the starters was DeAndre Jordan. I was kind of surprised by that. He had 22 minutes, 4 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 turnover, and 3 fouls. Chris Paul, he got in some foul trouble quite early and just kept on hacking Curry. So in 13 minutes, he scored 1 point and he turned the ball over twice. J.J. Redick, 14 minutes, 1 of 7. This is a bad shooting performance for all of them. And by the late third quarter, it was full of bench players, like on both sides of the team. You saw Wesley Johnson getting 22 minutes. Austin Rivers, the coach's son, got 27 minutes. Like, it was bad. Even old Jamal Crawford ended up playing 20 minutes because of how bad the Clippers were getting beat. But moving on to the Warriors side. How about Klay Thompson, man? 21 minutes, 10 for 14 shooting, 30 points. Just put on a clinic, a straight shooting exhibition. It was ridiculous. Curry, 23 minutes, 4 for 8 shooting, 3 of them were 3-pointers. He had 14 points. Kevin Durant had 24 minutes, 6 of 10 field goals, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 blocks, 3 turnovers, 1 steal. Draymond Green, 22 minutes, 8 defensive rebounds, 1 offensive rebound, 5 assists, 1 steal, 8 points. And that is a triple-double waiting to happen, man. Zaza Pachulia, he came over from Dallas. I really don't see how he's going to be an integral part of the rotation because he's just so slow, and the Warriors play at such a fast pace. Like, he's not. If you could be less athletic than Andrew Bogut, he is it. He is it. So David West came off of the bench, 16 minutes. He had 9 points. I mean, but like I said, by the late third quarter, man, it was just the game was chock full of bench players. So, and just to give you a little insight, man, this is what the preseason is like. So you want to take it with a grain of salt, but you also want to pay attention to who's doing well during the preseason. This is really going to help you when you get in those spots when players are out and you want to know who's next up, who's next in line. This is what's really going to help you out. Is studying these players during the preseason, and of course I'll be here, man, to give you to talk with you, let you know who I like and who I think we should stay away from. So this is your DFS Jerusalem. You can follow me on Twitter at DFS Jerusalem. This is the Daily Fantasy Sweatshop. Basketball is my bread and butter, but I love football as well. I've got the weekly installment of the 5 wide coming out where I highlight the 5 wide receivers that I really like the most. So hey, stay with me, stay tuned. Thank y'all. Y'all have a wonderful Tuesday.